Welcome back, class. In this section, we're going to talk about siblings and parents and other things that may influence child development in families. Siblings often are overlooked in child development, but they play a huge role in the development of children. Sibling relationships often include the invasion of a child's personal space and this constant struggle for equality and fairness among the children in the eyes of the parents. There are three important characteristics of sibling relationships, according to Dunn. The first is that there is the emotional quality of the relationships. Usually, siblings can express very intense, either positive or negative emotions. Number two, familiarity and intimacy of the relationship. Siblings very know each other very well. Just like parents know their children very well, siblings know each other very well. And because they're so familiar with their sibling, the siblings can either be a place of support or they can provide a lot of teasing, which, as children grow up, there is a lot of teasing because they just know their siblings so well. The third important characteristic of sibling relationships is that there's going to be some variation in sibling relationships. Some siblings may get along very well, others may not. Some siblings may not be very close at all, or some siblings they may grow up to be best friends. It depends on the siblings and how they are. When we talk about siblings, obviously we have to talk about birth order. And birth order is linked to certain personality characteristics. The birth order personality characteristics can be due to variations in interactions with parents. Usually, if a child is firstborn, then compared to their other siblings, they may be very conscientious of how they are in public and how they represent the family. They may be high achieving and they may be the most intelligent. Children that are born later or children that are the youngest or the babies, they can be more rebellious. They usually are very liberal and they're more agreeable compared to firstborns. They may have their opinion and really feel justified in their opinion and stick to it. Something that is not really talked about with birth order. There were a lot of just false things about only children. Is that, for example, the only child syndrome, that they're not able to share or compromise and they disregard other people's thoughts and feelings. But actually, research has shown that that's not actually true. Researchers believe, based on observations of only children, that they're achievement oriented and they usually have a desirable personality, so they're able to get along well with others. Of course, with siblings, we have to talk about changing families and how families have changed throughout the years. So, for example, having working parents, specifically talking about parents, mothers that work. There are actually very few links between a mother's work status and a children's cognitive and social emotional development. What's important to really focus on when we're talking about mother's employment is the actual type of work that the parents are doing and the work schedules and the work family stress. Sometimes, like I talked about earlier, sometimes parents can be very stressed out at work and that may spill over into their family life. They may yell at their children more or just be more irritable because they had a tough day at work. And so, again, it's important to understand the type of work and how that influences work schedule and stress. Children, specifically girls of working mothers, engage in less stereotyping. And they also have a more view of a more equal view of gender, saying meaning that they believe that women are just as strong as men, that women can do whatever a man can do. So they have this more egalitarian view of gender. Of course, with changing families, one example of a changing family are divorced parents. And about 40% of children born to married parents in the United States are going to experience their parents' divorce. So even though 40% is less than 50%, that's still a large number of children. So there are a few questions that researchers ask, and just people in general ask, in regards to children and having divorced parents. So the first is, are children better adjusted in intact, never divorced families than in divorced families? Um, Overall, children in divorced parents may have poor adjustment. They may also have issues with delinquency. Again, this is not all children that have divorced parents, but that is, they may have, children of divorced parents may be more likely to have poor adjustment. Number two, should parents stay together for the sake of the children? It's actually according to research that if the parents are fighting a lot, and that can impact the child's well-being, obviously, as well as the parents. And so divorce can actually be advantageous if the conflicts in the marriage affect the child's well-being. Family processes matter in divorced families just as much as the family processes matter in parents that are parents that are still married. And what people don't really talk about is the socioeconomic status and how that plays in the lives of children in divorced families. So usually when children have parents that are divorced, they may have one parent that has custody of them, or there may be shared custody, but usually it's just one person that has custody over them. And what we know about the socioeconomic status in regards to divorced parents is that mothers that have custody of their child after divorce, they usually take a bigger income hit compared to fathers that have sole custody after divorce. And moms may even move into lower income neighborhoods, or they may have higher rates of job instability because they're trying to not only take care of them, but take care of the children as well. And they don't have that extra income that they once had when they were with their spouse. So that's important to note. Step families, another type of change in families. Obviously, if there are about 40% of children who are going to have divorced parents, a good portion of that number will, a good portion of those parents will get married again. And so we have these blended families, step families. And step families, is very important to that the parent, the step parent and the step child and the step sibling, that they work to establish relationships. It's not enough for just the biological mom or the biological father to try to just focus on the marriage and focus on their own children. The step parents and the step children have to make sure that they are facilitating a good relationship with the stepchild. So that's very important. Another type of growing family where are the gay and lesbian parents. And what people don't really understand is that there are a lot of American children who have a parent that identifies as LGBTQIA plus, and there are certain adoption laws in Illinois, for example, The state of Illinois permits a same-sex marriage couple to jointly petition to adopt, and the state of Illinois permits a same-sex partner to petition to adopt a partner's child or a child of the relationship. And lesbian mothers, gay fathers, those that identify LGBTQIA, these types of individuals are choosing parenthood through adoption, donor insemination, in vitro fertilization. There are a lot of ways that these individuals are able to become parents. Of course, ethnicity and families. Minority groups are usually the families that have these large and extended families. And not only are these families large, but they actually play a huge role in rearing children. Single parent families are also common among African American and Latino families. And lastly, socioeconomic status. Children that have parents that have lower socioeconomic status and don't have as much education, they view education as a teacher's job. They don't view education as their own job. But with higher socioeconomic status parents, these type of parents believe that education is not only the teacher's job, but also the job of the parents as well. They believe that they have a role to play in their child's education. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I will see you all next week. I hope you have a great week. Be sure to finish strong. Bye-bye.